Okay. So what we saw is how, as a data scientist, you fit within the company for any practical company. And a practical company might have different roles, and we have seen 7 different roles. And the purpose of data scientists, finally, is the guy who is looking at the data. Who is looking at the data? Who gives him the data? Well, there's supposed to be a database in the company, or somebody collected the data and he gave it to you. If you have a database, then there should be a database engineer who will execute the queries and give you the data. Otherwise, they should have done some exercise or activity to collect the data, and that collected data is given to you. So essentially, a data scientist works with the data. That's why he's called as data scientist. The data is the input, and from the data, it does some process. It does some process, and what he gets is information. Okay. So I'm not saying that information is something different from data. It is not different, but it is hidden in the data. So it is somewhere inside the data, and it's not so obvious, and you have to do some tricks. You have to do some analysis to get the information, to extract the information. And that is the job of a data scientist. That's it. You are given with the data, and your task is to obtain the information based on some question. For example, somebody might ask you, what should I do looking at the data? What is the right company to invest my money for the stock market? So you have the data of the stock market. At the moment, you see which company is going to do better in the future by some sort of analysis, and then you can give him, okay, there's a risk here, there's less risk here, this one has this progress, the other one has that progress, and so on and so forth. So just to summarize, for data scientist, that's the scope. That's exactly what he or she will do. Given the data, try to get the information. Okay. So the information is inside the data, but sometimes it's not so obvious, and you have to somehow get this by doing different tricks. And those tricks are what we are going to learn in this course. Okay. Now, when you repeat the same trick over and over, it becomes what we call as method or technique. So we are going to learn those data science methods or techniques in this course that will help you, to do data science related tasks, and maybe, who knows, you might be interested to become data scientist. Now, why this data scientist or data science is becoming so popular? Because one of the reason is the popularity of data-driven approach, data-driven decision making, or data-driven approach. What is the main summary or what is the main highlight of this? It says that when you are making a decision for simple scenarios, like we discussed a scenario in the last class, a simple scenario. Do you remember which scenario we discussed in the last class for decision making?
If we need to use umbrella or not?
Yeah. So for a simple scenario like this, for need umbrella or not, you can observe the surroundings. Of course, you can just go with the intuition without looking at anything. But sometimes you observe the surroundings, and from there you get it. And that's a simple decision to make. And for that, a simple observation is fine. But imagine a multinational company who's trying to resolve some critical issues, for example, to increase the rate of production. For these companies, just simple observation will not be enough. They need to know more about what is going on. They need to understand where are the bottlenecks. They need to understand how and where to proceed, where to focus on. So when the things get complicated, really, the intuitions and guesswork might not, for sure, it will not work. So they have to look at the data. And if the data is small, For example, like I gave you an a simple example in the class. Let's say you have numbers like this: 3, 5, 7, 4, 1. Okay. Can you tell me what is the average of these numbers?
10.
It is
10.
Would be 4.
4. 4.
it will be 4.
4.
Okay.
Oh,
It will
yes.
be 4 because you have how many numbers? 5 numbers, right? Total is 20. So if you do 20 by 5, it will be 4. Okay. So this is easy. But how did you get this average? Of course, from this data. But I cannot write. But imagine if I write huge list of numbers, thousands or billion numbers, then you cannot just look at it. You cannot just do things by, looking at it. You have to use some tool to get the average. Of course, getting average is something that I fixed. But imagine you have lots of data, and now you want to know what I should look for in order to make the decision. Then it will become much more challenging. If I just give you a bunch of huge numbers, not just numbers, even text and everything, and if I asked you what is the next step I should do to have progress in my company, to make profit or to reduce the cost, then that will be another challenge for you. Now things are not clear. You don't know should we look at the mean of something, or should we look at the maximum value, or what should you look at? That's also not clear. Then it becomes challenging, and that's where the data-driven approach shines. And this is the thing that is done at different levels. You can do it at a database level, and you could just do the data level where you do lots of data science methods. Okay, so if you have complex decision to make, for sure data science will be helpful. And last but not the least, we have also seen the data analytics life cycle. What this life cycle basically is, it tells you how you start from the discovery of the problem and then follow all the tasks till it becomes materialized or operationalized. So discovery is, the word discovery, it was the first step to proceed in a particular project. So you discovered something from which you can, let's say, come up with a valuable product, a product that is, something well appreciated, and you can sell the product and get, benefit out of it. So you have such that discovery. Okay, the discovery can come from any of your past experience, or you got just intuition by looking at some other company. There could be many ways how you got the idea. Okay, but once you have this discovery phase, then you see what data you can get, or how to get the data, from where to get the data. Sometimes the data are available. In the last class, I showed you two websites. Do you remember the name of those two websites?
Kaggle.
Kaggle, that's right, Muhammad. And
And can I get some?
yeah, KD
KD
Nuggets, KD
Nuggets.
Nuggets. Yeah, so those two websites are good source of data science, everything that you have to do with data science. There's also one more, which has, not one more, actually many, but there's something very, I would say, nice, which is UC, and we use all the data in our case studies in our course are coming from here, or coming from Kaggle. This is another machine learning repository. It has lots of data. Let me just clear this first. It has lots of data. This is from the UCI uh, laboratory, and you can click here, view all data sets, and you find so many data sets of different tasks and different. By the way, there are no competitions in UCI, just that somebody collected the data for their research, and they thought it will be helpful for the other, researchers or for other individuals to test their tricks. And remember, if you repeat the trick, it will become a method. So to test your trick or method on data science. So this is a UCI machine learning repository, a very famous, popular, you can say almost standard repository for any data science task. And we are going to use this heavily in our case studies. Actually, all the data in the case studies, I got it from here, except one or two which I got it from Kaggle. So that's a nice repository. Okay, so we are here. Okay. So yeah. So once you have the discovery, the next phase will be to see from where you can get the data, because getting the data is the beginning, right? Getting the data is the beginning. Sometimes you have to collect the data. That will prolong your analysis. Sometimes the data is available freely on these such repository. That will be nice. But the most painful one is the one when the data is available, but you have to pay for it. And then you have to know if there is no way out, you have to pay for it to get the data. But once the data is available, those methods that we are going to learn, they are not that expensive. All you need to have is a computer with a working software like Python, and everything is done then. Okay. So depending on the type of data, you will do a couple of tasks. For example, you have to maybe, first of all, when the data is available or you collected the data, you need to, let me highlight it with red color. You need to understand the data. And we'll see as we proceed, we'll see what I mean by understanding the data. Okay. As well as you need to prepare the data. Okay. So you need to understand and prepare the data once you have the data. Once that phase is done, the next phase will be about planning. Okay. What are the right methods or right tricks that you should focus on? That's the planning phase. Once you are done with the planning, you actually do the modeling and analysis. Okay. You actually do the modeling and analysis. Many a times you do modeling and analysis on a subsystem, and you take the results of your analysis and implement it also on the subsystem to make sure that what you did actually in the real life makes sense. Sometimes what happens is when you model things, you assume. Okay, when you model, you assume a lot of things based on practical and theoretical limitations. So because of that, the results of all your modeling may not be 100% applicable to the real system. So as a precaution, you do some sort of test, and you maybe you found something that will help reduce the inventory. You cannot implement it in the entire firm. You try to implement in a small, let's say, plant and see if it actually works there or not. If yes, then you can expand your study. So that is the modeling and analysis phase. And if everything works, then you communicate the results. Then you show to the next in line or to the client how good your results are. And all this is like your thing that you do it on your system. Okay. And once your results are liked by the sponsor or the clients or next in line in your company, then it will go to the operationalize phase. Otherwise, if they don't like the result, they say, oh, you have to do this at that, and for that you have to then go back. Go back could be like go back all the way to the data, or go back all the way to planning, or go up to here. And this cycle goes on and on. And this is what we have seen up to in the last class. Okay. So these are a couple of things that as a data scientist, you should be knowing. Okay. You should know this. Any questions, any comments? Yes, no?
No, I think.
All right. Now, let us do some review of Python. Okay. Let us do some review of Python. For this, I want you all guys to use your Jupyter notebook. Or if you want, you can use Google Colab, but having Jupyter notebooks together will be, the best. Okay. So can you turn on the Jupyter notebooks on your systems?
Doctor, we should open a blank page.
Yeah, a blank one. I'll show you the question and then we'll work towards the answers. Okay.
Doctor, can I use a compiler instead of Jupyter?
For now, it is okay, but remember, we will have everything in the Jupyter notebooks. Even you might have exams and quizzes where you have to work in Jupyter notebook. So if you have issues with the Jupyter notebook, like something to install or something, let us resolve it soon. Okay, so you don't have to continue with this. Okay, all right. So let us look at the first task and let us see how we can work on it. Okay, all right. So you have seen in ICS 104 how to create the list, right? How to create the list. So list comprehension is one of the common, and you will say like practical ways to create the list in Python. But unfortunately, this is not taught in ICS 104. Is it true? Have you heard about list comprehension before?
No.
No.
No,
No.
it's the best.
Yes, so that's something unfortunate. I hope it was in 104. But anyways, so let us start with this task, and we'll see how and where list comprehensions can be used. Let us start with the first task. The first task is to create a list containing numbers from 1 to 5. Something very straightforward. Let us see who can copy paste the solution in the chat box. Okay, but let me close this. Yeah, Muhammad Al-Shahrani gave the right answer. And then Hamza, your answer may not work. Can you tell me why? Oh, Walid,
Because
also your answer is not.
it's a Python.
Hamza's, sorry? Can anybody in the class tell why Hamza's answer may not work?
You can't use the list word because Python in case sensitive. It is
It is? It is a keyword, okay? Because it is a keyword, it's a command. In list is a type of method you have in Python, so you cannot use it, okay? But then the other one is the Walid answer. Walid's answer will not work. Why? Because
It's the other way around.
okay.
Not
So
always
whenever
for.
you have, yes. So this equal to sign is the assignment operator, right? In Python, the left hand side is new value or something new, and the right hand side is something that exists. Okay, so what Walid had did, he flipped, and that is not going to work. Why? Because the right hand side should be something new. The left hand side is sorry, my bad. Let me show it here. Okay, so that's the Python's, and this is a nice operator. It has nice properties. The here you should have something that exists. Okay, and here you should have something that is new or something that you would like to update. Okay, something new or that something that you'd like to update. But then this one is something that exists. Okay, or you have the value beforehand. You can simply remember it like this. This is like something past, and then this is something going to be the the future. Okay, yeah. All right. So looks like we have a good number of guys answering the first one. Then how about the second one? By the way, anybody? Okay, Turkey gave the answer for second one. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. All right. So anybody who has questions on one and two? Anybody with any questions on one and two? All right. Now, question number three. Let me see who will give me the first answer on question number three. Okay, loop is not the answer. I want the code to be pasted in the chat box. Yes, you can use loops, no point. Yes, Mazen, you can also use append, but I want the final answer. Or you can write, in brackets 1 up to 50, but that is not the smart way. Actually, the answers that you give are not the smart, actually with the 5 numbers, but that is fine because it's 5 number. Even in the slides, I have those answers. That's right. But as the number increases, for example, from 5 we move to 50, things get challenging. So let us see who will get the first working solution. That's good, Hamza. That's good. Okay, so Hamza used range, append, and finally he's printing the list. That's good. Anybody with any other style? Okay, Turkey, that's, yeah. Oh, you did, okay. So you did the squares, which is good. That's good. But still the similar style. Anybody, let us see if you have anybody with a different style. Okay. All right. So this is, okay. What happened to this? Hmm. Oh, I see now. Okay. Just a second, just a second. So it's better to go to this slide. So you can know this. This is like a scratch paper in the Jupyter notebooks that you can add as your um, Jupyter notebook extension. Okay, and now we will see different ways. Abdullah gave Abdullah, your code will not work because or maybe when you copy pasted, the brackets are missing. I'm not sure. There are some errors in your code. Sagar, okay, this is fine. Okay, all right, all right. Now what I will do, I will show you. Of course, the topic was the list comprehension, so I will show you how list comprehensions work. Okay, so to make a list comprehension, okay, so that's what I thought. Your code will not work because you are missing the brackets. The while function has a typo, so it will not work. Okay, all right. So let me start with a simple approach that most of us have. Okay, so we'll start with 151. Why 51? Can anybody remind me why I should go with 51?
Because it will not be included, just 50.
Yeah, because it not be included. Most of the time, the Python, whenever you have a method, the ending value is not included. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let us say this S is an empty list, and then you could say here S dot append X, and then finally that is something. So this is the usual way. Now let us see how list comprehension works. To make a list comprehension, you don't have to start with an empty list. You immediately can make the list. How? Well, I know that I have to loop over some numbers, right? So that will be inside this, okay, without this colon. And what do I want to get for each loop? I need to just get the value of X. What I'm appending each time the value of X. So let me add that value X here. And this is nothing but the list comprehension. Okay, this is nothing but the list comprehension. So let's do one thing. Let's say 20, or maybe it's good enough. Okay. And now let us call this as S2, just to make sure that it is different indeed. And then I'm going to say print S2. So you see, it's the same thing, right? Yes, no?
Yes, same.
Yes.
Yes.
Same
But
thing.
this one is very compact. Being compact is not the only advantage. The advantage is that you don't have to create an empty list and append it. Okay, every time you just created the list that you wanted and saved it, or no, and used a new name to refer it to the list. And this is list comprehension. You see that list comprehension has two parts usually. And you can have parts, extra parts like condition and these things, but by simplicity you'll have two. You have the for loop where you are iterating, over some iterator, and then you have the value that you are getting. Okay, you don't have to have the same value there. For example, let us say I want the squares. What thing I need to change to get the squares of the numbers? And of course, I could do
The
it here.
X. Reverse the X.
Okay, something here. Yes, that's right. What do I need to do? I need to get the square.
Multiply.
you could do x multiplied by x or this the square function, power. Okay, and then you let me just use this also. This is just to come up with a new line. Okay, differentiating. So you see now you have the squares, and this thing in the square brackets is called as list comprehension. Okay, it's called as list comprehension. It is very smart, very easy to read, and it will not require you to use the append and the other functions. Is this concept of list comprehension clear, or anybody has a question, doubt, anything that you would like to ask?
So, Doctor, the first argument in the list comprehension is the argument that you want to append to the list.
Exactly, yes. It has right now two parts. You will see with three parts also, but let us pick the two parts, one, the simple one. Yes, the first part is the one that you are actually planning to append to the list. Okay, for example, here it's clear. You see here it's x, and that is exactly what you wanted to append. And then what's the other part? The other part is the looping part. Okay, and this is a simple loop. I'm just looping over all the values that starts from 1 and ends just before 51, which is 50. Okay. Yeah. Any other question?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah.
If I want to put a string, is it okay or only for integers?
No, it is for every. It is for list, any list. Python is open for everyone. Give me an example, and then I can code it. Give me some whatever you have in mind. Tell me.
I don't really have anything in mind, but I don't know how to use it in strings or something like that. I think it's
Well,
very simple now.
Can we add the alphabet?
Yes, for example, alphabet.
adding alphabet, or you mean creating a list of alphabet?
Creating a list of
creating.
Yeah, I think you can do anything anyway. See, if you can do it in the loop, see, first thing you remember is the purpose is to create a list. Okay, you are creating a list. That is the main task. Then, if you are creating the list like this, then don't do that. Use it. Use the list comprehension. For example, let us say I want to create a list of alphabets. List of alphabets. So how to create a list of alphabets? Starting from A. I think we have this. Let me just comment this. Okay. I think character 97 is HR. Yeah. So that is A. Okay. So now I'll show you how to create a list of alphabets. So to create a list of alphabets, let us say S4. I'm going to create my list. And the same thing for X in range, let's say 0, or we can make it 1 to make things easy. And we have all the way 26, so just plus 1. And you can print S4. And I did something. Oh, I started with 97, so it should be 0, right? Yeah. And then 26. Yeah. I also program in MATLAB and Python, so this indexing is always confusing. But anyways, so that's a string. Okay. Now, if you have a rough example in mind, I can show how we can do it, or we can try to do it. But remember, if your goal is to create a list, list comprehension will always work, and that's why the name list comprehension, to make the list. You're making the list, and to make a list, in Python, list comprehensions must be used. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Yes, no.
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. If no other questions, then we move to the next. Okay. All right. So let me zoom it. Yeah. So now I'm highlighting it. Let us see who will give me the solution. If you give using the loops, the regular one, it is fine. But I want you guys to try list comprehension, and most probably let us see. Let us see if you can do it, or otherwise, I know we'll do it together. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I got the answer from Sagar, and it looks right. Okay. Okay. Two. Can you explain, Musab, what is 262 in the range? I
It
didn't get
is
that.
to move by 2.
But why are you starting from 2 increment by 2 up to 6?
Because we want from 1 to 5, the even numbers from 1 to 5. This is what I understand.
Oh.
1 is not
And,
even.
sorry. Yeah, and this is the squares, and this is up to 50. Yeah, so that 50 is my typo. But this is even squares, huh? Not even numbers.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you did is to have even numbers, which is right, but the goal was to have even squares. So yes, that's right, Muhammad. Okay. So we are getting the answers. That's good. So here is the creating another list. Let's say S5, or he's giving a name, right, in the question. It says E square. You can write it. Sorry. Same. And you write the condition here. For example, if x mod 2 is same as 0. So you see, now you have 3 parts. If you have a condition, then that condition will come up here. Okay. If you have a condition, the condition will come up here, and then you can say print. Comment this, and that will be the answer. Okay. So there are different things in list comprehension, and now you see almost all possible types of lists. You can list comprehensions. You can have all the 3 things, and these are the 3 things. That's it. Now you could have complicated things going on. Here you can have your own function. Here you can have instead of for loops like this, you could have some complicated for loop for a statement. Sorry. And here, instead of this simple condition, you could have some complicated condition, maybe condition that has a function in it. So it could go in different directions, but that's a full view of list comprehension. Okay. Any questions, any comments, any doubts? Yes, Muhammad, what you have done is right. The only thing is instead of up to 6, the maximum, there was a typo in the question. I changed it, and what is this? Yeah. It should be 50. Okay. Okay. So any questions, any comments? Anybody has any questions on this part of the code? I'm going slow because I want everybody by the end of this week. I will have a homework on Python and these topics, and everybody should be able to get it. Okay, because without, it's like alphabet for this course. If you don't get this, you will not understand the next topics. So if you have any questions, please take this first week. Meet me during the office hours. I have meetings on Sundays and Mondays, but again, we'll make the survey and we'll get the office hours. So if you want to meet, if you plan to meet me today, I think 3 or later should be good. So no questions? No questions on this? All right. If that is the thing, then let me give you a task. Give me a list, okay, where you have for even number square, and for the odd number you have the same number. So if it is an even number, you square. If it is an odd number, you don't square. Write the code in any style. I don't necessarily say in list comprehension, but anybody who can write in list comprehension is definitely, or at least if you tell me where to modify in the list comprehension, that would be great. Did you get the question, or should I write it here?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. Okay. So create a list such that even number is squared, but odd number is not. You have now 1 to 50, right? You have a list which is S3 that has numbers from 1 to 50. I want to use this list, or you can cut your own style, that's fine. And such that if number 1, it should be number 1. If it is number 2, it should be 4. If it is 3, it should be 3. If it is 4, it should be 16. If it is 5, it should be 5. 6, it should be 36. Maybe I will execute the code maybe on the other screen, and give you the result, and then you can tell me how to get it. Okay.
Doctor, is it okay to have 4 parts in the list comprehension?
In the list, for 4 parts, don't think like this. Think like this. You have something to append, something to loop, and something for condition. Okay. This condition is on the loop, but if you want to have condition on the value to append, you can give the condition here. So that's the difference. Okay. And I think you are thinking in the right direction. Okay. So this is what I want. I don't know if it can print it here. What is it? 1, 4, 3, 16. So Muhammad gave an answer. Yeah, Muhammad, that's right. But now let us see if we can do it by list comprehension. Anybody, or at least help me where I have to modify, or help me in coding. So which code should I copy from here to begin? Okay, Muhammad. Yeah, that might not work. Okay, that might not work. So this if condition, the if condition here is on the values of the this iterator. Okay, so it is like this for x in range, and if this is true, then you go here. Otherwise, you don't go.
I have, but I'm not sure it's correct.
It's okay. Just paste it in this.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry that you are getting wrong. That is fine. If you are not trying, then you should worry why you are not trying. Okay. But if you're trying and getting wrong, that's fine, because that's how we learn. Even we are all students. Okay. No, but I will copy your code and I will try to explain from here. Okay. So what Muhammad typed is this. Okay. Now we. So up to here is okay, but here is the issue, right? Now remember, if I don't write this, what will I get? Let me highlight this. If I just execute this, what will I get?
It would be squared. No, an error maybe.
Yeah, because here you have x, right? So now what will I get? Yes, Sagar, you got the answer, mashallah. That's great. Okay, so yeah, we are going to get that answer now. Okay, so yes, if I execute it like this, what I will get is square for all the numbers. So where I want to change, is it on the number of values that I'm changing, or the let us not call it value, is it the number of elements that I have to change? Okay, is it the number of elements that I need to change in the list, or is it the value of the element? What do you think I should change? And yeah, I need to change the value. If I need to change the value, then I should change something here. Okay, so I'm going to say if x mod 2 is same as 0. So what it mean? You know this way of writing if statement, or is this the first time?
I think we know.
First time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For example, let's say I want to assign, and let me write a statement, and you tell me if you know this. If y is greater than, let's say y equals to 10. So first one is, of course, right, you are assigning a value, y is being in reference to 10. Okay, what is this?
It's mean
Y is
x is 3 if y bigger than 5.
Yeah, but yes, x is 3 if y is greater than 5. Otherwise, you should have some value for it, right? So it should say else, let's say 1. Okay, so let me, oh, there's so many things. Just a second, it is getting to. Okay. I cannot see the output, so let me just delete all this. Yeah, okay. Now, this is the if statement. In one of the ways to have if statement in Python is you write the value if the condition is true, else you write the value if the condition is false. This is an if statement. Is this the first time that you're seeing this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So then maybe I will add some topic on this maybe in the review. Yeah, this is called as ternary if statement. If statement which has three parts: a value if the condition is true, and a value if the condition is false. For example, let's say y is 1. Now what should be the value of x?
Yeah, 1.
It should be 1.
So the condition is this, right? So the condition is going to be true or false?
False.
Very false.
False.
False. So
False.
this, if the
That's one.
condition doesn't satisfy, you will get 1. So you see here, I got the value of x as 1. If the condition is true, I will get the first value. So that's it's a single you can say line of code that has the if inbuilt. If is inside it, so it says either 3 or 1 and depends on this condition. So that's exactly what I want to plug in here, which is here. Okay, so here I don't want square, I want the square based on the condition. So I'm going to say else x. So that is the thing that I changed in the value of the element, not in the number of elements. Okay, not in the number of elements. And then if I print it, I can see that. Okay, 1, 4, 3, 16. Okay, and now let us say I would like to remove every third value. Then I could say here if x modulo 3 is same as 0. Oh, I kept something. So now I reduced it. So now I have every third value is gone, and things like that. So you see, list comprehension, it's very powerful. And remember, when to use list comprehension? What is the main goal or objective to use list comprehension? When? Anybody in the class?
For list?
Yeah. Whenever you want to create. Exactly. Yes. Whenever you want to create a list, you should go with list comp. That is the way in Python. Okay. I don't know why in 104 it's not taught, but this should be the way. Yes.
Why do you add x mod 3 equal?
This is just to show you that the condition here has a different effect. The condition here has a different effect. The condition here, the first one, is on the value of the element. The condition here is on the number of elements. This is just I added. It is not needed, for this question. For this question, this is not needed. Okay. I was just trying to show that if I add a condition, I will reduce the size of the list. I will have every third value. Okay. All right. So that is how you do this. Okay. Now, once you have this, I think these are the easy ones. So we had this e square. Okay. Let me maybe now I can show the solutions. So I think that should be okay. So yeah. So that's the list e square. Okay. Now I want to get the length of the list. How to get the length of the list in Python? I think that's the easy one, right?
Then function. Then
Yeah,
Yeah, the length function.
Length.
Yeah, using the length. Okay, using the length. Okay. Now maybe this is something new. Find the position of, let's say, this number in e square. Okay.
you
Example. Why is it saying this every time? Maybe something. Yeah. So I have this e square here. I want to know in what position I have. Oh, because this is. Oh, you can see the codes now. No problem. that's e square. I want to know what is the position of this number, and if I count it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I want this to be done automatically. What should I do? Anybody remembers?
Use
Index.
find.
Find maybe in MATLAB, but here you use index. I think find for sure use in MATLAB. I haven't seen this in Python. Okay, so index of this number, which is how much? 196. Okay, and this will give me 6. So that is how you get the position or index of a particular number. And now, how about this? I want to check if this number 576 is it inside that list e square or not. How to check that?
Print 576 in E square.
How?
Print 576 in E square.
So what is the meaning of this without printing?
It's a Boolean, true or false. Is it in the list or not?
Yes. So this in operator is very, very nice operator. Whenever you have so many things and you want to see if this thing is same as one of these things, then you use in operator. So it's just asking a question, is this element inside this list? So this is the in operator. I hope this is not the first time we are seeing this, right? Or again, it's the first time.
No, we've seen it.
Yeah. And then the print is just to get yes or no. So if it's true, it means yes, it's there. Otherwise, it's not there. For example, if I give some random number, it will give me no, it's not there. And that is the power of in operator. Okay. And remember, this is the in operator that you're also using in the for statement. Okay, the same. Okay, but of course, different purpose here and there. Here it gives true and false, and here it gives you true, false for the for statement to continue. Okay. Okay. Now I want to get the max and minimum numbers in the e square. How to get the max and min of e square?
Min and max.
Min max.
Yeah. So let us say a is the minimum value, which is the min of this. How to get the max value?
Max or min.
Max.
Max.
Max. That's it, right? Can you do this in one line instead of doing 2 lines? Have you seen this power of assignment operator before?
No.
No?
I think multiple
Really? Have you seen this assignment operator before, the purpose like this, or never? This is the first time you're seeing this?
To me, yes, I saw it.
The first time.
Okay, so Python assignment operator is very powerful. It's very different from other programming languages. The way it works is like this. It says that this is the past, this value to be assigned to B, this value to be assigned to A. Okay, and now if I print A, B, it says 4 is the minimum value and 2500 is the max value. Okay, so that's the it is actually very nice operator. If you haven't seen this, that's one of the examples with which you start. For example, let us say, what is the value of A?
4.
Yeah, so just to make oops. Yeah. And to make things easy, I'm just going to copy paste here. So the value of A is let's be okay, the value of A is 4 and the value of B is 2500. Okay, Now I want to flip the values. I want A to take 2500, B to take 4. How will you do it? Anybody?
Can you repeat, please?
Can we just
I want to flip the values. I want A to take 2500. I want B to take the value 4.
Use -1, I think. Right?
Minus?
-1.
You just switch the positions of A and B.
can you just search the positions on the code itself? Or do you mean
No. I want to change it now. After this code is executed, I don't want to change it here. Of course, if I change here, yes, it will flip. But I want to change it here.
You need to use a new variable so that if you change A equals B, then B is removed. So you need to use 2 or 1 new variable.
Okay, can you type the example quickly?
Like we can if max and then if max equals A. Then B equals if max and no. Yeah, S max
Okay.
equals A and S min equals B. Or
Okay.
no. S max equals B and A.
Musab, the answer, okay, go ahead. Yeah, and then you are saying this, right?
You need to use a temporary variable so that you don't use one of them.
Yeah, that temporary variable is not needed in Python. That's the nice thing about Python. But I just want to show you again. So you can say, for example, here, B is X max and A is S min, okay? And again, you can print the values of A and B. By the way, this is not the best way, but we just flip it, okay? But you don't have to do this. In Python, the assignment operator, it has a nice functionality. What did we say the assignment operator? It does like this. This is past, and this past value is assigned to A. This is the past value, okay, before executing, and that before executing value is assigned to B. That is how the assignment operator works in Python. So if you have seen this for the first time, see, it is very powerful and you can use it a lot. And of course, this is not the best way. You could have also one temporary variable like Muhammad suggested. But you don't even need this temporary variable. Why? Because the way this assignment work is like this. Before executing the code, whatever you had was on the right-hand side. And after executing the code, those values will be updated. So it's like updated rule, okay? If in mathematics, sometimes you write it like this: x I equals I plus 1, okay? In loops. So this is the old value of I. To that you add 1, and this is the new value of I. Yes, that's the thing. But you cannot do it for multiple assignments. But here in Python, you can do it for multiple assignments. So here B is now assigned to A is assigned to B. And now when you execute this, you see that you get the same result without any um, temporary or variable. Yes, Turki, you have a question?
Doctor, why did you write F in the print function? What does it stand for?
This F is to print. So if you have an argument, for example, here I want the value of A, and here this is text, right?
We also can use comma, right? Or no, not comma.
Yeah, you can use comma, no doubt. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use comma, but then it should go out, right? It should go out and things like this, right? But that use of comma is something old. Now we have the formatted string. You have raw string, you have format string. So using F here in this brackets, you can give a variable. For example, here in the brackets, I'm giving variable A. So it will print whatever is the value of the variable A, it will print. So this is something very nice, especially if you have too many arguments. If you have too many, inputs, then this is the best way. Let me give you a nice example, and I think it's something. Maybe I have to restart or something. Okay, let me give you a nice example. Let us say print. Yeah. Okay, name, again, not that interesting for sure, but it will be okay. Major, and let us say what else? Hobby.
Age.
Okay, age. Yeah. Let us say A, B, C. And now let me just comment it. And you have seen so many. And by the way, this is triple quote, so this is like a string. Using triple quote, you can give your own structure. Okay, you can give your own formatting. So this is simple formatting. So you could say, for example, A is, let's say, Ahmad, or you can take the input from the user if you want, but just some number. Let's say B major. Let's say I'm gonna pick the one from my major, and C. Let us say age. It could be number. Let's say 22. Exactly my age. Okay. So now if I write it, it will not work. Why? Because this is a usual string. Okay. Now if I make it F string or the format string, you see this is what will happen. And you can format it in your style. For example, let us say let us say you want to align these. Let's say I want to have space here. So anything you have format, and these are the inputs. So this is very good, especially if you want to create some dummy codes where you have input from the user and that input you want to print. Then this is a simple way to print. All you have to do is use F string instead of the usual string, and then you use the flower brackets or the parentheses, whichever way you like to remember. And inside that you give the variable name, and that variable name you can change it, and you'll get different results. Okay, that is so that's something about F strings. We have lots of times in our. It's actually good that you highlighted this. In our slides, we have this F strings coming a lot. So if this is something that you haven't seen, that then alhamdulillah, now you saw that this is how it works. Okay. So yeah. Any other questions, or should we move back? We are running out of time. So maybe one last, and then we'll stop. Okay. So any other questions? Any comments? Okay. So if there are no other questions, let us go back to the last question and then we'll stop. So that is your E squared list. And from here, he's asking you to remove this number 196. So I want this number to be gone from the list. Can you suggest me an idea how to kick a number? Okay. You have remove.
You can use remove.
Okay. Or pop. Okay. There are two different maybe. Pop and how should I do it here? Dot remove. Okay. Let us start with them, and I'll finish in a minute. Just a second. Here, let us say I write 196. Then I'll print. Okay. Yeah. Square. Okay. So now you see here it's gone. Okay. So this is one way. If you want to remove a number, if you want to remove an element with its by its value. So I know the value was 196. So if you want to remove it, I use dot remove. Sometimes you may not know the value. Sometimes you know that, oh, I have to remove, let us say, fifth element, or for example, in this case, sixth element. Okay, in this case, sixth element. So if that is the case, so So if you see here 196, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 element. So if I know the index, but if I don't know the exact value, then I could use dot pop. Okay, dot pop, and it does the same job. Difference. What is the difference between pop and remove?
Bob will use the index, and remove you will use the value.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so all right, guys, we are running out of time. We'll continue from here in the next class. If you have any questions, comments, please message me on MS Teams, and I'll create the survey. And maybe in the next class, tomorrow, I will upload the survey for the office hours. Okay, so we'll stop here. Have a good day. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Doctor,
Yes.
when you will send the slides?
Yeah, for the comment section, I forgot to mention the guy was busy. So today I will message him and ask him to make a comment section.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Have a good day.
Okay, okay, guys, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah.